Welcome back to the channel. This is your host, 10 O'Clock Scholar. For those who are returning and those who have been here before, this week we are called the Sane Society. What makes us sane people is what makes us sane society. And I'm inspired to come here today and talk about IQs. You know, in determining somebody's sanity or level of intelligence, which really is synonymous, let's go by the standards they set with IQs. Let's use that as the measuring stick. We know it's biased, but somebody who's got some smarts is going to show in their scores, no matter how biased or how unequal the miseducation system is, if you understand what's being said. And I'm going to use myself for an example. Whatever judgments you may have about me, I can say without a doubt, with no fluff, with no pretense, that my score was over 100 when I was a teenager. My IQ score was over 100 when I was a teenager. How do I know? Because I was tested when I went into the military at 19. So now, over 60 years later, I know it's much, much more because I have really, really studied many, many things. So before you judge me, find out what your IQ is. Find out what your level of intelligence is as a measuring stick. And do that in your life with everything. Find out the people you're dealing with. Find out their level of intelligence according to this man's standards. Yeah, it's going to be biased, but intelligence is going to show through no matter how biased the tests are. I managed to get 100, over 100 as a teenager, but I went to all black schools. You see, back then, I wasn't in an integrated system. So we had an advantage as opposed to the people now who are miseducated much more than in my day. So what I'm saying is that when you find out your level of intelligence, then you have a measuring stick to see whether somebody else is, in your opinion, smart or dumb, or sane or insane. Because in this day and time, lack of intelligence is synonymous with insanity. Because you can lose your life. You can lose your life by not being intelligent. You will lose your life. And there's everything around you to keep you dumb, to make sure you don't excel. So it has to be some willpower within the person to elevate themselves to be a part of the sane society. So that's what I want to bring with y'all today, because I know a lot of people keep their distance. They say, oh, this man don't know, this person don't know too much, whatever your judgment are. And you haven't measured your level of intelligence. And you haven't measured their level of intelligence. You just may be the one who, you just may be the one on the short end of the stick before you misjudge somebody else. They may be much more intelligent than you think. Because you're not thinking right. You're thinking as somebody who is unintelligent. Always have a measure, whatever you do. not just your feelings. Your feelings don't mean anything. You got to have a objective way of measuring something that's going to tell you the truth. And I say IQ scores, yeah, that's a good measuring tool. Most of y'all never even heard of IQ scores. You don't know what yours is. Find out. If your score is under 100, it's about 70 or 80, you really need to get that score up. You need to widen your circles. You need to increase your learning because your life depends upon it. And your score is like that because you're watching programs that it reinforces being unintelligent. What you talking about, young blood? I'm talking about TVs and a lot of movies and these programs you just love to watch. They giving you a good feeling about being dumb. Everything I see on TV is geared to somebody who's maybe a fifth grader. Fifth grader can appreciate TV, but if you're a grown adult and you appreciate TV, what do they say about you? So don't believe me. I'm just here as entertaining and trying to educate you. Do your own research always. Okay? What else I had to talk about? Uh, People talk about survival, surviving the next conflict or the grid out or whatever. If you're talking about survival, you already put yourself in a category that you might not make it. If you're talking about survival, just that type of thinking that's been programmed into you. Survivor means somebody who may make it and may not. You just survive. Why would you talk to yourself like that? That's dumb. Use terms like overcome or success or terms like survival is like saying you half dead. I don't use those terms, and I don't gravitate to things that tell me about survival. No, much smarter than that. That's part of the program. That's part of the things that keep you in a barely alive mode because you focus on survival. What about focus on prosperity? Think about being prosperous. Like it says in the scriptures, being without lack of anything, not lacking anything. That's what the 23rd Psalm says. It says you don't lack anything. It don't say, what it says, walk through the valley of the shadow there. I have no wants. You have no wants. If you don't have no wants, you're dead. That's not really what the scriptures are telling you. You got to want something. And I found it in the Spanish translation. It says you don't lack anything. You have everything you need. But if you keep telling yourself you have no wants, wow. Only people who don't have any wants are dead. People who have no wants are dead. So don't say that scripture is like I have no wants. Let me read it for you real quick to let you know what's being said. Let me read this 23rd Psalm. Because you got to do your research, people. You just got to do your own study. I'm help you out here. Okay. -- 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. What? I shall not want. Wow. You got to be dead if you don't want anything. You see how that programming, this English translation? Now in the Spanish translation, and I learned this years ago, I'm just sharing it with you now to show you levels of intelligence and how you talk to yourself. I learned years ago that this phrase really is saying, I have no lack. I don't lack anything, meaning you have everything you want. So it's the totally opposite. But if you're saying this verse, you have no want, then you might well lay down and die. The first thing in the universe that makes you alive is want. You got to want something to have something. If you don't ever want anything, you would never have anything. Now let's do a little more study since you got me in the mood here. Let's go to the Ethiopian Bible and see what they say. See if that's been compromised as well. Okay? Most of y'all just have one book to study. You don't compare with other writings. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's just dumb. Because you're taking one word as truth. That's not how you get the truth. Study to show thyself approved means you got to do something called comparative analysis. Learn different languages. Okay, 23rd Psalm, Ethiopian Bible. Oh, I thought I was in Psalm. I'm in Jobs. I'm in Job. I thought I was in Psalms. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, maybe I should read 23rd Job since it came up. No, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Okay. We're going to put it up here in a minute. Now, remember what I said in the English, the first verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, making you a dead person. Now, in the Ethiopian Bible, they got the same thing. Look like this was translated from the King James. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemy. Thou anointest me with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I'm suspecting that a lot of these verses in the Ethiopian Bible are the same. How can they be the same as the King James? If somebody's lying to us that this is not really Ethiopian Bible, that it's you got to look at who print these Bibles, because nothing should be the same in here. If I can go to Spanish Bible and find a word that says I shall not lack instead of I shall not want, the Ethiopian Bible should not be saying the same as the King James. So I'm a little concerned that this is just another way, another trick. That's why you got to read in other languages. That's why I don't use English as a measuring stick, because anything in English is suspect. So I don't have a lot of faith in this Ethiopian Bible now, because I found the same exact verse in the King James. How can that be? This is the King James. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He make me to lie down in green pasture. He leads me beside still waters. He restored my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me, and the presence of my enemy. Anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord. Something is wrong. Something's wrong, y'all. Something is wrong. I'll tell you what, I got another Bible I'm going to go through since I'm doing a study with you all. If I got time, let's see. I got a Revised Standard Version here. Where is it? I don't see the Revised Standard Version. I gotta look for it. But I'm sure it's gonna be different than this King James Version. See, that's how I study. You got to get different versions of Bibles, different languages to arrive at the truth. You're not gonna find it in one place. That means you haven't done a study. If you're looking at one source for any answers, you have not done your study. Okay, that's it. Thank you for stopping by and sharing the video.